are. There will be questions from both Facebook and in our Zoom webinar as well. Just 1 minute, I'm going to be introducing our superstar guest of today. So once again, hello everyone. Welcome to the quarantine sessions. Thank you so much for joining. I'm super happy and super excited to introduce our guest of today. His name is Nadeem Barakat. He is a trainer that has trained entrepreneurs and startups all around Egypt, across Cairo, American University in Cairo, across Ain Shams. He's also a business developer at Homzmart. Nadeem, thank you so much for joining us.
Valentina, thank you for the great introduction. My pleasure to be with you.
Thank you so much. So we've got a pretty crowded webinar today on Zoom. Please send us your questions. There's a Q&A section. There's also our live streaming on Facebook where you can tune in and send your questions as well. I think we can start with the basics of defining business development and what makes a business development strategy good or bad.
Okay, let's define business development first. It's a very common question. Does it sound okay?
Yes, you're cutting off a little bit. Hoping this will improve now.
Okay, let's start with the definition of business development. Personally, I can define business development as a business accelerator or the business catalyst. Simply, it's the department responsible for taking the business from a level to another level. I can call the business developers as opportunity finders or opportunities creators.
I love the concept. Can you raise your voice a little bit? We're hearing you a little bit low.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, yes. Or maybe come closer. Okay, so I love the idea of opportunity finders. Now, yes. Business development is sort of a discipline that I'm very curious about constantly. Would you say that generally there are certain number of strategies, or is it a very customable sort of discipline where you find the right strategy depending on the business, and it's very organic?
Okay. There are a set of strategies that can be used, but like any other science, these tools can be customized and implemented based on the business economics. Mm-hmm. But of course, like any other science, it has some basic strategies and some basic tools. The business developer must know to use them and customize them among the business economics and size. Briefly, no one size fits all, but business developer needs to know commercial thinking ways that he can use and implement among his business.
Mm-hmm. So what are some of these? What are some of these ways, for example?
Okay, and let's set the objectives of business development strategy. What are the objectives of having a business development strategy? And what makes one a successful one, and what makes one a bad one? Let's start with the good ones. The good ones need to have a clear set of objectives. Mainly, it can be about making profits, increasing a market share, having strong relationships with all stakeholders, maybe partners, maybe clients, maybe suppliers, maybe customers and users, whatsoever. At the end of the day, the strategy must be achieving these objectives, mainly profit, increasing revenues, increasing market share to the business, having a better relationships for the business with all stakeholders. Let the business gain some power that can happen by partnerships with governmental sections, with celebrities, some other stuff. Last thing, it can be adding a prestige to the business, which is called main branding. It can help in increasing the prestige and the perception of the users of this business.
Right.
This is the objectives of having a business development strategy. Okay. Let's go for the bad one. What makes it a wrong business development strategy mainly is because of lack of studying of the three main players: the customer, the product, and the market. The customer may be the customer behavior and purchasing motives and drivers. For the market, maybe the politics, the economics. That's why business developer must be fully aware of politics and economics. So it's highly affecting his business development strategy. Many business development strategies failed because of not aligning with the politics and economics of the country we are living in.
Right.
Yes. Atlas is studying of the product, the market, and the customer. The product means the core competence values of the product, the product edge. The business development role is to find the product edge and create one. So what makes a business development strategy goes wrong? Mainly is the lack of studying of these three main players.
Right.
So they will not achieve the set of objectives we talked about.
Right.
Okay. What are the strategies?
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going. So what are the steps to start building up that strategy, right? We were talking about these 5 key steps. What are the steps an entrepreneur should take to start developing and rolling out the strategy?
Okay, so you're now asking about the 5 key steps.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about 4 main aspects. Entrepreneur must study and think when planning for a business development strategy. First one is the product development.
Yeah.
And product development here means is some modifications for his product or adding new product lines for the same customer he is targeting and for the same customer who is purchasing from him. And adding new product lines that fits the same customer. This is the first aspect we can think of when it comes to a business development strategy.
Right.
But the second thing we can think about
I think we lost you for a second.
Sorry, I'm back.
Okay, you're back. Now you're back.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the product development, for getting an example, to have an example to illustrate more, just like when Coca-Cola adds new flavors.
Right.
They're adding new flavors, new products for the same target audience they are targeting. For the same purchasers who started not to purchase from Coca-Cola and will purchase again after adding these new flavors.
Right.
For market development, business developer may need to develop the market he is targeting itself, which can be vertical or horizontal, which can be some businesses were targeting men started to target women. Gillette, Farm, some other examples. Some other businesses can be targeting a social class and start targeting a less fortunate people or a more fortunate people.
Yeah.
Here, the business developer is creating a new market for his same product, or with some small amendments to fit this product. This can be a new market by gender, by age group. I was starting an age group of the 30s to 40s. Now I'm having a new product for kids.
Right.
Again, this is all comes from his studying for the market, politics, and economics.
Right.
For example, a number of kids or youth in Egypt is very high. So products are now targeting youth to gain this very wide target segment.
Right.
Okay.
It's very interesting to see that it's not just about the commercial aspect, right, of selling and having a strategy for sales. It's a whole, like, very, very integral, right, holistic way of thinking about the product and the service that you offer, right?
It's a 360 view for your product, market, and customer.
Right.
And as simple as this. Some other tools that can be used in the strategy is diversification, which is adding a new product to a totally new segment you're not targeting before. Can have an example of the Starbucks mugs.
Right.
Of Starbucks.
Right. Yeah.
This is a totally new product rather than the usual product of Starbucks, which is targeting a whole new segment that maybe not Starbucks used. This is adding a new product which will gain more revenues and attract more customers to the business, which is the main goal of the business development strategy. As simple as this. One last thing that must be added to the business development strategy is partnerships, which is a core thing in a business development strategy. Partnership is a pure science of why and how. Why to make partnerships? What is the real outcomes or ROI from a partnership? Partnerships are done for three main reasons: maybe revenue, maybe customer acquisition, maybe branding. Then how to make a partnership? Who is my perfect potential partner?
Right.
How to get a good partner for my business? How do brands make a partnership? Right. Simply, the main pillar to choose a good partner is a company that targets the same customer you are targeting in the same state, like newly married couples. So I need two brand names targeting newly married couples. We can say wedding planners and makeup artists.
Right.
We can say furniture store and wedding planners. They both have the same target audience, the same customer in the same state. So there must be a very good potential partnership between them. Another shape of partnership is to ask myself where my customer will go after leaving my shop, and where the customer was before coming to my shop. For example, interior designers and furniture. Are two consequent stages in the customer life cycle, or in the customer purchasing decision. He goes for the interior designers, then he searches for furniture.
Right.
So potentially they can make a very good partnership. I think these four strategies, or these four tools, must be included when we think of developing a business, of adding new revenue streams to a business. Whether will I enhance my product, will I enhance the market, or I will try new market, I will try new city, new country, new age group, whatever, or I will make both. I will try new product for a new market, or I will make a partnership that where I can gain one of the three things: revenue, acquisition, or brand. Simply, this is how business development strategy goes.
Right. We have a lot of questions already coming in, so I suggest we do a first roundup of questions now. So the ones coming from Facebook, right? Salah from France is saying, can Nadeem tell us about the different channels for business development?
Okay.
Ahmed Abu Lenin is asking when your business development cycle will be back to life again. I guess he means his business cycle. When will our business?
My business development course.
Oh, right. Because you've interrupted it.
Yes, due to COVID-19, we have stopped all offline courses.
Right.
Hopefully, we will come back soon, inshallah.
Inshallah. Hopefully. Okay, so let's go with the first question. Can you tell us about the different channels for business development?
Yes, we just mentioned some different channels that we can use in developing a business development strategy. Again, briefly, having a product development, which is amendments in your products, or adding new products, targeting the same customer you are targeting now, or adding new markets with your product, just like selling your products online instead of offline, having online courses instead of offline courses.
Right.
Doing e-commerce business instead of retail offline business. This is a new channel with the same product, but you targeting a new customer. Or diversification, which is adding new product to a totally new market, or having a partnership with someone who can give you and someone you can give him one of the three things: revenue, or customer acquisition, or brand.
Right. Perfect. Yeah, Ahmed was asking as well, can you repeat the four strategies, because the volume was low. So thank you so much for that. Omar Ashraf is asking, what are the required skills to do business development? So I'm guessing Omar wants to hire, right? So what are the key skills you should look for in a business
Yes.
developer?
Yes. Well, business developer must have a solid marketing background. As we said, there are three players when it comes to business development: customer, market, and product. So customer background comes from sales. So you must be have an face-to-face selling experience. Whatever retail sales, corporate sales, but sales is sales. To know more about market, he needs a marketing background. Working in agency would be a great plus to know different industries and how consumer behavior changes from an industry to another. Gives you a greater exposure for different type of customers, and you can see some different consumer behavior. Also, you need to be very analytical. So I would recommend the data analysis is a very, very, very must for business development.
Right. Right. That's very important as well. Mona Al-Rahmani is asking, when do you determine that a business development plan must be applied?
Okay. Let's think of the project life cycle or the product life cycle as four main stages. From introduction, where the product is newly introduced to the market, have no market share, have no significant customer base. Here, business development techniques are applied to get him to the next level, which is the growth phase, where product is now valid, have a small number of database, have a small market share, but it's growing and there is an appetite for this product. With some business development techniques, we said, it takes it for the next level, which is the maturity phase. The maturity phase where your product is having a good market share and a very good repetition and generating a lot of revenues, but with a slow growth rate now.
Right.
You're not having the same appetite you were having in the last phase. What happens eventually is business goes to the decline phase, where some businesses decline from the market. Decline not means exit the market, but it means not having the same glow and the same success, not the same revenues of the business. Here comes the main role of business development, is to apply the previously mentioned business development techniques to get back this business again to the growth phase, where he can grow more with a new product, with a new market, with whatever we have mentioned, to continue the cycle again and not decline or exit the market. So business development is not a one-time thing. It's not applied once in the product lifetime. No, it's applied in all the stages of the product.
Right.
Whenever you stop developing, whenever the brand will die very soon.
Right, right. That's very, very important to hear, because we tend to think, business development is very similar to sales, that you're sort of pitching the company and pitching your product or your service all the time. And I love how you're mentioning partnerships so much and how you're focusing on that, right? We have a lot more questions, some of them coming from Facebook. Ahmed Ayad is saying, strategical partnerships should include business development strategy. I guess it's related to what we were just saying, right?
Yes, must be included in the business development strategy. Partnerships here has many types. There is distribution partnerships, where you can showcase your products in different platforms. For example, dealing with some of the e-commerce websites, selling your products, your brand on Amazon. This is a distribution partnership. Other partnerships which helps in gaining power, we have mentioned before, is governmental partnerships. Having a governmental cover, but somehow, which usually happens in the products with a cause or an impact or a social impact. Products working in tourism is much covered by governments. Products work in education can have a very good potential partnerships with government. But all these kinds of partnerships can be added to the business development strategy for sure.
Right. Ahmed Al-Aziz says, I couldn't tell the difference in business development when considering market and when considering customer. So he's referring back to your first consideration when you were talking about market, customer, and product, right? What is the difference between considering that business development with your market and with your customer?
No, I need your input in this.
Tell me.
Okay, type market here. I mean, I mean culture constraints. I mean in politics. I mean economics. For example, politics is if you are launching an exporting business, you have to keep in mind the countries your country is dealing with, and the countries your country is not dealing with.
Right.
In a very fast-moving world, this kind of relationships affects highly affects business. Many businesses face many problems due to, especially exports, due to some political problems, because they are not very much aware of the political situations and not having the market sense. And here I mean market sense when the world is always shouting for shutting off the plastic usage, and you are running a product works in plastic, so you are not hearing the market sense. The market sense is moving towards stopping a certain product, and you are working on it.
Right.
Your role here is to develop alternatives.
Right.
As I said at the beginning, it's about opportunities creators or finders. So if you do not find the opportunity, you have to create an opportunity for your business to survive among the political situations, the economical situations, and the cultural situations. So market is culture, politics, and economics.
Right.
What I mean with economics is when we think of expansion for countryside cities, when I'm a tech company, I need to know how many smartphone users are there in countryside cities. This is a culture constraint. They will not be using smartphones. Another constraints may be religious constraints. When you sell something in countries that have religious constraints. So this is market, politics, economics, and culture. Customer is customer behavior. It's customer motives to buy. What makes him buy? Whether he's price oriented or quality oriented or quantity, like some other countries, or he's very sensitive to delay, or he's very sensitive to fairness of contracts. This is the consumer behavior. What are the consumer motives to buy?
Right, right. He just added, you're talking PSTL analysis here when diversifying the geographic location. Am I right?
Yes, right.
Perfect, perfect. Ahmed Awalanin, he's asking, can you help me spot the difference between business development and fundraising at the events industry?
At the events industry. Okay. Fundraiser here has only one objective out of the business development strategy you have set, which is money.
Right.
He only needs to fundraise, to support with money mainly, or some other services which is translated to money at the end.
Right.
However, business developer has some other set of objectives that we have talked about at the beginning, as market share, profit, prestige, relationships, power, all of these objectives. Fundraiser mainly works on attracting money for the event.
Right, right. So Mohammed Sokar is saying from Dubai with love. He's joining from Dubai. We have an anonymous question. He's asking, on what grounds do we select a more convenient strategy for the business? On what grounds?
Okay, again, no one size fits all. Okay.
Right.
This is much related to your industry you are working in and the stage that we have talked about in the product life cycle. What stage are you in? In the introduction phase, you cannot add a product development. Product development is used to add to a business to have a large scale of customer database. in your introduction phase, you do not have this customer base. So you would rather go for a market development. However, if you are in the maturity stage and you are avoiding the declining stage, you can have a product development. That's why when we gave an example, we gave example for Coca-Cola, which is a very, 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 very mature brand. And doing all of these product development things in this stage. Another example for product development is Apple. Apple. Yes. Apple business development strategy is using only one module out of what we have talked about, which is product development.
Right.
Examples, he's selling set of products to the same customer. He can make an iPhone, AirPods, Mac Pro, iWatch, and set of products for the same customer, and they are all synchronized.
Right.
This is the business development strategy of Apple.
Right. Very good example, very clear. Sharif Abdelhadi is saying, from your point of view, which is the best corporate who had dealt with COVID-19 in terms of product development? I mean, we can take global examples or local examples.
In terms of product development.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Was Visita.
Mm-hmm.
Visita, for those who do not know Visita, Visita is a tech company, works in the medical field. It was used for doctor appointments. Mm-hmm. Now they have added a new product, a new great product during COVID-19, which is the pharmaceutical section. You can request your medicine throughout the application. So we have added a new product for the same target audience we're already dealing with, which is patients.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right.
Another example is Otlub. Otlub is a food delivery app. In Egypt, Talabat in Dubai, Delivery Hero worldwide. They have added the grocery section and a total quick commerce section, which is pharmacies, supermarkets, flower shops, and some other stuff, along with the food industry they are working in.
Right.
Some applications are going for the super app and adding much services to the same customers they were targeting. I think Highland in Egypt have added a very nice new section of courier service for anything from anywhere to anybody.
Right.
He's using his fleet. Yes, he's using his fleet, who was working on restaurants and on individual transportation. Right. During COVID-19, he has added courier service. So he is using his fleet in generating new revenue stream.
Right. Highland, just to give a little background. So Highland, for those who are not in Egypt, it's a very successful startup that does on-demand tuk-tuk service, right?
Yes. Yes.
So
motorcycles.
And right, and motorcycles. So Zidane has another question, actually two. So how do I set a strategy to my daily working as a business developer as I do sales, partnerships, searching, and learning? I feel sometimes I'm lost in all these duties. And the second question is, what should I learn to become more effective in business development? My background is sales, not marketing.
Okay, perfect. Second question is answering itself. So you need to learn marketing.
Right.
You have a solid, strong sales background. You need to add a strong marketing background. You need to read more about marketing strategies, about consumer behavior, and about data analysis. And data analysis needs more practical courses, I think. To have the vision to read a report and have an insights from a report, or can read huge data or big data, so you can come up with some insights that will help in taking business decisions. For the first question, for the daily routine, we need to prioritize um, our set of objectives for our business. We said we can have 5 objectives from business development strategy. We will not achieve the 5 objectives from one path. We need to have several paths to achieve these. We need to prioritize our business in this stage needs profit, or needs a market share, or needs power, or needs relationships, or needs whatsoever. We need to prioritize our objectives. Then we can prioritize our plan. If the main objective now is having a new market share, so go directly for partnerships with cross promotions across 2 platforms where you can give away some promo codes or vouchers or whatever, so you can attract more customers from the other partner database.
Right.
If you're looking for profits now, so you can start with B2B and bulk deals. B2B here is not only corporates, maybe schools, universities, any bulk deals. It depends about the prioritizing of your set of objectives.
Right, right. Another anonymous question: does the business development is it related to the product life cycle more than the business life cycle?
Okay, so he's related to both product life cycle and business life cycle. But business life cycle consists of several products, where every product has his own product life cycle. So when you are planning and executing a business development plan, you do it with product before with brand.
Mm-hmm.
So what does this product need? Does it need more market share? Does it need more profits? Does it need more power? Is it sufficiently good in the market, have a good brand repetition, or we need to work on this? In what stage is this product? Is this product is about to decline? So I need to have some product development, or this product is still in the introduction phase, so I need to have a bigger or better market share. So it's related to the business life cycle, but business life cycle consists of several products life cycle.
Right, right. Mariam has a question on Facebook. What new skills can be added or are important to see and do it to provide a chance of success in what is coming after the coronavirus period as a business developers? So how can you train? How can you better train yourself, or what kind of skills can you add or can you implement, right, to succeed in the period that comes after coronavirus?
Okay. I think coronavirus period has a good side. We all have plenty of time to study more and to know more skills. I think what we need now to know is the changes in the consumer behavior after the COVID-19. Let's agree, consumer behavior and purchasing decisions will not be the same after COVID-19.
Right.
Customers now, in Egypt, as example, customers dealing with e-commerce, or dealing with e-learning, or dealing with any e-thing in Egypt, has a great spike in numbers in the last 2 months. These users who started to use the e-commerce in ordering supermarket, in ordering pharmacies, in ordering, in taking courses online, in whatsoever online, will not come back with their spending power to the offline market.
Right.
A great share of their spending will still be spent on the online thing. So this is a pure, clear change in the consumer behavior.
Right.
I'm working now in furniture industry, but I can see obviously that consumers' behavior towards their home is now changed. All consumers are now giving more attention to care about their home.
Right.
They knew that, yes.
Yeah.
They know that at the end, home is home.
Yeah.
So we have to give him attention. Yes.
Yeah. 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 Right. So back to your example on Apple, Ahmed Abdelaziz is saying, Is it safe to say that their business development strategy is highly tied to brand and product positioning? I've seen Apple just started to target the less fortunate as well with their $200 phone. Is Apple repositioning its iPhone?
It's not repositioning. When you look at a market, you have to make something called a positioning matrix. Positioning matrix have 4 squares and main 2 dimensions, differs from industry to another. We can say one factor in this matrix is expensive and affordable.
Mm-hmm.
The other is quality and less quality.
Mm-hmm.
Where can you see Apple? Apple now is a high quality, high price brand. Am I right? Where can you see Samsung with a less quality, less price, but still high quality, high price? Where you can see Oppo, you can see it in another square.
Mm-hmm.
There is no square better than the other.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about positioning. The brands want to position himself in. What Apple is doing now is penetrating a new market with the $200 phone you're talking about, to have a very small, tiny market share from this market. However, still, the most range of products is in this square. Only one product fits this square. So still, his positioning is in the A-class. Because just like when Uber makes an Uber X, I mean, Uber Select,
Yeah.
which is a better quality of cars, serving a better or a more fortunate people to use. Is Uber still affordable? Yes, still affordable. And the most, the biggest range of products is for the middle section. However, is having a line in this section to have some market share, and having Uber Bus to have a market share in the less fortunate market.
Right.
But the main market is the middle one.
Right, right. Ahmed is asking, do you have any recommendations for free tools for local market research? Very good question, because I think tools are always useful for entrepreneurs, especially those that may not be able to hire a business developer right now.
Yes, for local business, there are multiple sources in Egypt now. Those who are working on B2B, there is Egypt Business Directory. Egypt Business Directory offers a full directory about all companies in all industries. So if you need to know how many companies work in furniture in Egypt, it's so easy to know through Egypt Business Directory. For the hiring thing, Wazzaf is offering a great annual report for the most required jobs in 2020, the less demanded jobs in 2020. This can give you insights, the average wages and salaries for every job. It can give you indications about your market and your customer. Lastly, Euromonitor always gives the great statistics about any industry in any country, not only Egypt.
Euromonitor.
Yes.
Very interesting. Salah is asking as well, yes, please, a list of tools. And he's based in France, so that will be helpful for him. That'll be useful. Ahmed Yahya is asking, is it good for a junior business developer to join in a startup, to work a startup, or to work in a corporate, and why?
In my point of view, and based on my experience, I'm a startup lover. I can see a year in a startup equals 10 years in a corporate in terms of learning and growth.
Right, right. What did
Simply, you get exposed for more roles and more departments in startups.
Right, right. Aya Mohammed is asking, how do you start a career in business development?
I'm working as sales for 12 years now.
Right.
Yes, I worked as sales representative for 4 years. Then joined a marketing agency as sales. Then marketing agency as account manager and marketing to get the marketing background. Then business development executive. Then business development.
So you would advise someone looking to join that kind of field to start working in sales and then kind
Yes,
of
definitely.
move their way up.
Definitely. Simply, business development is about planning and executing. If you
Right.
do not have the sales background, you will not execute it right. And you may plan a very good plan that cannot be executed on real life.
Right. Right. Sharif, another question. We all know Nokia was one of the best cell phones companies at that time. Why did this company take such a huge fall? And even after some modifications, why does it still, fall behind from the competition?
Okay. There is no one clear answer for this question. This is a case study worldwide, Nokia's fall in the market. My point of view is sometimes success makes you slower
Mm-hmm.
in your development.
Mm-hmm.
Nokia had a great success with products. They thought that they will be in the maturity phase for a longer time. But competitors were moving very fast, so they let them go to the decline phase very quickly.
Right. Right. Can you relate innovation to business development? This is an
Definitely,
anonymous question as well, but
definitely. We work very close with the innovation teams. I was working in food industry before furniture. I
Mhm.
was working very closely with the food innovation team. Uh, how things go? Uh, I would plan based on my research, based on everything we have talk about, that we will work on kids' meals.
Mhm.
I would go for the food innovation team. We need kids' meals, recipes, and ideas. There's a technical part of innovation.
Right. 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 We have a difficult one here. Okay, this is a difficult question. Ihab Mohammed is asking, I just need you to advise me on a golden piece of advice that I will not ever forget. That's a tough one.
That's a very tough one. That's a very tough one. So what kind of advice do you need? Uh,
Yeah, if you want to
I,
tell us on what the advice is, what the advice is on, that would be super helpful. I mean, I would say, what is the biggest lesson that you would learn throughout your journey in, learning and executing business development? What is the biggest lesson? And I guess that can sort of answer that question.
okay, يعني in my field, I would go for all the successful business developers I've ever met always have one thing in common. They are very customer centric. They
Right.
always appreciate customers. See customer as the main driver for the business. We are all rotating around the customer. All our development, our plans, our execution revolves around customer satisfaction.
Right.
So the more customer centric you are, the more business developer, successful business developer you are.
Right.
So
Right.
I would advise always to respect the client is the king. For the selling part is the business development. Our salesy part is the business development. I would always advise with honesty. In my experience in sales, uh, your repetition as sales, your repetition as business development will always help you gaining and attract new opportunities. Being honest in what you sell, being not over promising, being that you deliver what you promise will always make you a successful business developer and will always make people want to deal with you.
Right. Right.
On the
They
other
say,
hand, if you are not honest, you will sell, you will achieve your target for 1 year, and then you cannot continue in any market.
right. 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 They say you should sort of under promise and over deliver. Is that right? Do you agree with that kind of statement?
Yeah, I would agree with no under or over. We can deliver what we promise.
Right, right. I like that. Ahmed is asking, what is your opinion in business developer? A business developer should focus in an industry or can any business developer focus on any industry and work on any industry?
Okay, it's just like driving. When you learn how to drive, you can drive a BMW, a Mercedes, a Fiat, whatever.
Right, right.
The only difference is that you need to study every industry separately.
Right. Ihab is adding reputation lasts. Regarding your last point. Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, Nadeem, it's been such a pleasure having you today on the quarantine sessions. Thank you so much for all your insights. We've had sort of a waterfall of questions. So thank you so much for answering them all.
Pleasure is mine, Valentina. Thank you. Pleasure is mine.
Thank you
I really
so
enjoyed
much.
our discussion. Thank you.
And thanks to everyone who joined from France, from Dubai, from Cairo, from Alex. It's been a real pleasure. We will see you tomorrow for another quarantine session. Thank you so much and make the best of this time in quarantine. Thank you, Nadeem.
Thank you, Valentina.
Thank you again. Bye-bye.